Hello, it's Guangjun from Tombalik, and today I am here to bring to you this newly released Mexi Bench and also show you some of the features of the mini bench. And these are our two current available options for the home study kit, and they are really awesome, and I will be showing you guys how to achieve some basic results with it, and also show you some of the kit update that we will be packaging with these new benches, such as the 6mm chisel, which is going to be great for your dovetail work, and a few other items such as the coping saw and the hacksaw. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's talk about size. The first thing you note about the Mexi Bench is that it's a lot bigger than the mini bench, and it is roughly the same size as our previous holdfast bench, the version 1 of our circuit breaker bench, but it's about twice the weight of the holdfast bench because it is made from a solid stump. So the width of it is roughly about 35 cm by about 40 cm deep, and it's going to vary from piece to piece because it is one of those it's made from a log, right? So it's one of those items that's kind of like a naturalish finish. So every log will be slightly different in size, but this is the rough dimension that you'll be getting it at. And it is also a lot taller, so when you are using it, it's going to be closer to your eye level, which will be great for some of your joinery work where you need to see a bit more clearly. Okay, and now that we know what size it is, I want to show you some of the features of this piece. So let's take this out here. So the bench comes with a slot here, and this is actually your side vise. This is actually the vise of the bench, and this is a piece of plywood. This is a spacer. So the size of the slot here is about 2 inches. So you could use it to clamp even things like a full piece of 2x4 inside here, and for that purpose you can just vise it on like that with a wedge. Okay, and it's going to be rock solid for you to cut with. Okay, so for thinner items you will need your spacer block, which will be provided. You put your spacer block inside here, and any kind of a thin stock will be held in the same way as the previous if you had a thick stock. So just put your piece inside here and you can vise it on very, very naturally and easily. Okay, and to release, just take your mallet and knock it out, and then it's loose here. Okay, so really intuitive system, no metal moving parts, just your intuition and adjustment by hammer. So this is great. This is really awesome, and the depth of this slot is about 6 inches, so you could grab most of your drawer sides in it. So what if you had a piece of item that's a bit longer? We actually have on the side here a slot. This vise slot will be all the way to the bottom of the floor, and this is going to accept anything from 35 cm and up above. So if you wanted to vise your item, then that will go right in there. Okay, and like this, and that's going to slot up right nicely for you there. Okay, and this would also be something that you could use for very long drawer sides. It can clamp up to 3 inches here, which is an inch wider than what you have, and the capacity for the side, the deep slot here is about 6 inches wide. Okay, so that's really handy, and it's going to knock that out now. Okay, and one of the cute features of the bench is also the holdfast, which we have decided to include as a DIY kit. So this is the end result of your first project. This is one of the first things you probably want to do. We will supply you a piece of material, a piece of hardwood with a hole drilled at an angle, and then we will provide you the round dowel also, which on its own would already serve as a holdfast, but we do encourage you to do it to a bit more refinement like this. So You can see I've carved out some of the bottom amount here and also done some of the trim on top here. Okay, and how this will work for those who never used the hole fast before is you would put it down like this, you take a mallet, you give it a little tap like that, and that's going to lock your piece nicely for you, and that's going to allow you to do some of the paring work, chopping work, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a bench that we would recommend for you if you have proper space for you doing woodworking at home, and also if you wanted to tackle some of the bigger projects and would like to do some arm carving furniture, like making proper stools or chairs. Pretty much all of our classes will be completable on something like this, with the exception of maybe full-size study and dining tables. Those will be a little bit tricky on this, but any kind of chair-size object or small tables would be doable on this. Okay, so all in all, a really great piece of kit. There are some you can use the bench for your right angle adjustments, just like that. Okay, put it up here. You can also vise a piece of wood like this. Okay, and that would provide then a little chisel stop for you, like this, and then you could do some of your paring work, your carving work right against the edge here, like that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We will be using this bench in more of our videos so that you will get a bit more of a familiar sense of how to use it. I'm going to move on to the mini bench now, just to show you some of the features of the mini size variation. Okay, so now let's talk about the mini. The mini is roughly about 20 cm by 20 cm. So this would be a great piece of equipment for making things like the tissue box, and it would the parts of it will fit right inside the vise like that. Okay, and the great thing about the mini bench is that it's designed actually to be turned around, so you can actually rotate it like this and use the flat side for various parts of your various kinds of work, and design different jigs on different portions of it. I'm going to show you the most basic feature, which is the side vise here. So same concept as the Mexi. You have your little side vise that will vise out just like that. Give it a little pull and it's going to come right up here. Very handy, very quick. So, and if you wanted to do some cross cut on a piece of long stock like this, then you would simply grab one of your wedges and then put your combination wedge inside there, and that will give you the strength that you will need for the cut. Okay, I'm going to show you that now. Okay, in fact, you wouldn't even need to clamp it for most of your cuts. You can just use the chisel stop here like this, and that will give you most of the stability that you need for a simple cut like this. Okay, very handy, very simple concept. Okay, you have your end grain stump here, and that will allow you to do most of your chopping work without damaging any tabletops or your chisels, because the end grain will absorb most of your impact. Okay, all in all, a perfect size if you're interested in spoon carving or tissue box making, practicing dovetails at home. This will slide right between your closet, under your bed, or any kind of it's super portable. You can throw it in the back of a car and bring it around, and you can even use it outside or at your friend's place in the future for just cross learning. Okay, so a really nice bit of equipment here, and also because it's so small, we are able to offer it at a really low price. So this is really a great starting point. The last thing I want to show, some people might feel that this is a little bit lightweight. So there are two ways that you can increase the stability of it. So if you had a wall, in this case I'm going to use the Mexi Bench as a little stop here. Okay, you can just lean it against the wall, and then this will give you a lot more stability in your cut. Okay, so if you wanted to cut something like this, just lean it against the wall. It's not going to run around as much. Okay, the other option is you can actually, on any one of your bigger benches, let's take a look up here. Okay, if you had a bigger bench, in this case I will also use the Mexi, even though the Mexi is kind of too small to mount this bench on, but just to illustrate the point, okay, you could mount the bench right onto another bench here, okay, and you can just clamp it down on any one of your existing tabletops, and that's going to give you the stability that you would need for using it. So you could basically see the Mini as sort of a detachable vise that you can just put on the floor and you work on. So really interesting bit of kit here. So if you have interest in, if you are restricted by budget or space and you still like to make furniture, this will still definitely be able to provide you with most of the work holding that you would need, with the exception of you might not be able to carve very large items like chair legs or chair arms on this, or backrest. For that you would need a bigger workbench like the Mexi or even something bigger than that. But if you're doing just tenon work, dovetail work, then this is going to be able to assemble even as large an item as you need, because you don't really need to hold the work in the length. Okay, so that's all for the Mini, and I hope that you would get either one of these and get started on your home study right away. Okay, alright, that's it for our introduction to the Mini and Mexi, and we look forward to seeing you in the next videos, where we will demonstrate more of the kit's functionality through our lessons. And don't forget to subscribe and like, and if you have anything that you'd like to see us cover, do comment below so that we can take note to cover those in the next lesson videos. Okay, till then I will see you, and bye bye.